Why only 2% succeed and 98% don't? The path to success is not a straight line. It is a labyrinth, a journey that only a few are willing to traverse fully. Yet, what separates the 2% who succeed from the 98% who do not is not talent, resources, or luck, but something deeper, something hidden within. You see, success does not come easily, for it requires a deep understanding of your own inner world. The majority of people live in a state of unawareness, oblivious to the profound power that lies within the unconscious mind. Our thoughts, beliefs, and actions are often influenced by this hidden force. When we fail to recognize it, we fall prey to self-sabotage, fear, and doubt. These forces, though invisible, are just as real as the external challenges we face. The 98% may look outwards for solutions, seeking advice from others, chasing external rewards, or mimicking others' paths to success. But in doing so, they ignore the shadow within, the very aspect of themselves that needs to be faced and integrated. The shadow represents the parts of us that we reject, the fears, the insecurities, and the doubts. But to achieve true success, we must confront and integrate these aspects, not run from them. This brings us to a crucial distinction. The 2% succeed because they follow their own path. They choose to listen to their inner voice, to stand in their own truth. They realize that success is not about following the crowd, but about embracing their own individuality. It's about recognizing that their true purpose is not something that can be defined by others, but something that can only be discovered through deep self-reflection and inner work. But the journey is not easy. Those who succeed know that the road is long and fraught with obstacles. They understand that every struggle, every challenge is a stepping stone to growth. It is only through the trials of life that we truly evolve and become the person we are meant to be. The 98% often give up when faced with difficulty because they do not see the value in the struggle. They forget that the challenges are the very things that forge the strength needed for success. Then there is the choice. The 2% make a conscious decision. They choose to rise above the distractions, above the doubts, and above the temptations to conform. They choose to put in the effort when others would rather take the easier path. They choose to take control of their energy, directing it inward toward growth instead of outward toward external validation. The key difference is this: success is not handed out. It is earned through choice, persistence, and self-realization. The majority fail because they do not make that choice consciously. They are swept up in the currents of life, letting their circumstances dictate their fate. The 2%, however, know that the power to shape their destiny lies in their hands, and they choose to act on that knowledge. Success is not reserved for the lucky few. It is available to all, but it requires you to go deeper, to face the unknown within yourself, to embrace the struggle, and to make a conscious choice to pursue your true path. It requires you to trust in the journey, to trust in the unfolding of your own potential. So the question remains, will you be part of the 98% who wait for success to come to them, or will you be part of the 2% who create their own success, step by step, choice by choice? The choice is yours, and the journey begins now. The unconscious mind is a vast and mysterious landscape, a realm that is often hidden from our everyday awareness. While we are conscious of only a small fraction of the thoughts, emotions, and experiences that occupy our minds, it is the unconscious that holds the keys to understanding our true nature. It is here that our deepest desires, fears, memories, and instincts reside, often influencing our actions in ways we are not even aware of. The unconscious mind is a powerful force, shaping the course of our lives, often guiding us without our conscious knowledge or control. The majority of people go through life with little understanding of this inner world. Yet it is precisely this lack of awareness that can prevent them from realizing their full potential. To understand the power of the unconscious mind, it is important to first recognize that it operates far beyond our conscious awareness. While we may be aware of our immediate thoughts, judgments, and decisions, the unconscious mind works quietly in the background, processing information, memories, and feelings that we have long forgotten or repressed. These unconscious forces shape our behavior, attitudes, and even our physical health, often in ways that we are unable to directly influence or control. We may have certain impulses, habits, or automatic reactions that arise seemingly out of nowhere, yet these are often products of the unconscious mind working in the shadows. It is this hidden realm that holds the key to understanding why we do the things we do, even when we are not fully aware of why. The unconscious is also the keeper of our memories and experiences, both positive and negative. Every moment of our lives is stored within the unconscious, whether we consciously remember it or not. Our early childhood experiences, the relationships we've had, and even the traumas we have experienced are all stored in this vast reservoir of hidden knowledge. Often, these memories remain buried beneath the surface, influencing our actions and decisions in ways that we do not fully understand. For example, someone who had a difficult relationship with a parent might carry unresolved feelings of anger or insecurity that continue to affect their behavior as an adult, even if they cannot pinpoint the exact cause of these emotions. In this way, the unconscious mind serves as a storehouse for all the unresolved feelings and experiences that have yet to be fully integrated into our conscious awareness. The unconscious mind also plays a significant role in the formation of our beliefs and patterns of thinking. As we go through life, we develop certain core beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world around us. These beliefs often originate in childhood, shaped by our experiences and interactions with those closest to us. However, these beliefs can also be deeply influenced by the unconscious mind, which often operates on the basis of past experiences and emotional responses. For example, someone who has experienced repeated failure or rejection may develop a core belief that they are unworthy of success or love, even if they consciously try to overcome these feelings. This belief, though unconscious, may continue to influence their behavior, preventing them from taking risks or pursuing their goals, even when they are consciously motivated to do so. Furthermore, the unconscious mind is a source of creative inspiration and insight. It is often in moments of deep reflection, meditation, or even sleep, when the conscious mind is quieted, that the unconscious reveals its hidden treasures. Many great discoveries, artistic creations, and moments of insight have emerged from the unconscious mind. The works of famous artists, writers, and inventors are often fueled by unconscious inspiration, channeled through dreams, symbols, or intuitive insights. For example, many great literary works have been inspired by vivid dreams or symbolic visions that the authors experienced in their unconscious state. In this sense, the unconscious is not just a repository of past experiences, but also a source of creativity and intuition, offering new ideas, solutions, and possibilities that we may not consciously perceive. In order to harness the power of the unconscious mind, it is essential to develop an awareness of its existence and influence in our lives. By becoming more attuned to our unconscious thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, we can begin to recognize patterns and beliefs that may be holding us back from achieving our full potential. This process often involves deep self-reflection and introspection, as we explore the hidden recesses of our minds in order to uncover the beliefs and feelings that are shaping our actions. Therapy, journaling, meditation, and other reflective practices can help us become more aware of the unconscious forces at play in our lives. One of the most important aspects of working with the unconscious mind is the process of integration. Integration involves bringing unconscious thoughts, emotions, and memories into conscious awareness so that they can be processed and understood. This is often a difficult and painful process, as it requires us to confront our fears, insecurities, and unresolved emotions. However, it is also a necessary step in achieving personal growth and healing. By integrating the unconscious mind with the conscious, we can begin to free ourselves from the hidden forces that have been controlling our behavior and decisions. We can break free from limiting beliefs and habits and begin to take conscious control of our lives. The unconscious mind also plays a vital role in the process of individuation, a term that refers to the journey of self-realization and personal growth. Individuation is the process of becoming the person you are meant to be, beyond the influence of societal expectations, cultural conditioning, and unconscious patterns. It involves embracing all aspects of the self, both light and dark, and integrating these parts into a unified whole. This process requires deep inner work as we confront our shadows, our fears, and our unresolved emotions. It is only through this integration that we can fully realize our potential and live an authentic, fulfilled life. The unconscious mind, when understood and integrated, becomes a powerful ally in this journey of self-discovery. Ultimately, the power of the unconscious mind lies in its ability to shape our lives, often without our conscious awareness. By becoming more aware of this hidden realm and learning to work with its forces, we can unlock our full potential and create the life we truly desire. The unconscious mind is not something to fear or avoid, but rather something to embrace and understand. Through self-reflection, integration, and a willingness to explore the depths of our own psyche, we can tap into the transformative power of the unconscious and begin to shape our destiny with greater clarity and purpose. Facing the shadow is an essential and transformative process that many avoid, yet it holds the key to unlocking profound growth and self-realization. The concept of the shadow refers to the unconscious aspects of our personality, those traits, emotions, and impulses that we reject or deny because they do not fit into our idealized self-image. These aspects are often considered negative or undesirable, and as a result we repress them, pushing them into the shadows of our unconscious mind. However, the shadow is not inherently negative. It is simply a part of us that has been cast aside and left unexplored, often because it conflicts with societal expectations, family values, or personal ideals. The truth is, the shadow contains much more than just our flaws. It also contains untapped potential, creativity, and power. We all have a shadow. It is made up of all the parts of ourselves that we are unwilling or unable to accept. These could be traits such as anger, jealousy, insecurity, greed, or fear. They might also include desires, dreams, and abilities that society deems unacceptable or inappropriate. For instance, many people suppress their feelings of anger or frustration because they are taught from an early age that these emotions are harmful or unrefined. Others might repress their creativity or ambition because they are taught to conform to a particular role or expectation. Over time, these repressed aspects of the self accumulate in the unconscious, and while they may not be directly acknowledged, they continue to influence behavior, decision making, and relationships. The shadow does not just reside in the negative aspects of our personality. It can also hold positive, yet unacknowledged qualities. For example, Someone who has been conditioned to value humility and modesty may repress their personal power, talents, or leadership abilities out of fear of being perceived as arrogant. Similarly, someone who has been taught to prioritize the needs of others may suppress their own desires and needs, resulting in a lack of self-expression and fulfillment. These unacknowledged strengths can lie dormant in the shadow, waiting to be integrated into the conscious self. The process of facing the shadow requires us to take a deep, honest look at these hidden aspects of ourselves. It requires a willingness to confront parts of our personality that we may not like or may even fear. This confrontation can be uncomfortable and even painful, but it is also necessary for growth and healing. The shadow, if left unexamined, can manifest in destructive ways, causing us to project our unresolved issues onto others, sabotaging our own success, or creating patterns of self-destructive behavior. For example, someone who has repressed feelings of anger might unknowingly attract conflict into their life, or they may act out aggressively, which only causes further strain in their relationships. Similarly, someone who has denied their own desires might feel a sense of emptiness or dissatisfaction, as their true needs are not being acknowledged or fulfilled. To face the shadow, we must first recognize that it is a part of us, not something separate or foreign. It is easy to think of the shadow as something external, as if it were a villain lurking outside of ourselves. However, the shadow is simply a reflection of the parts of us that we have failed to accept. Once we acknowledge this, we can begin the process of integration. Integration is the process of bringing unconscious, repressed aspects of the self into conscious awareness. This is done not to eliminate or destroy these parts, but to accept them and incorporate them into our overall sense of self. By doing so, we become whole rather than fragmented, and we allow ourselves to express all aspects of who we are, rather than only those that society approves of. One of the ways to begin facing the shadow is by observing our projections. A projection is when we attribute our own qualities, especially those we dislike or deny, someone else. For example, if we are uncomfortable with our own aggression, we might find ourselves becoming irritated with others who display similar traits. If we are unable to accept our own vulnerability, we might criticize others for being weak. Projections are a powerful tool for identifying aspects of our shadow, as they reveal to us the parts of ourselves that we are unable or unwilling to confront. By noticing where we are projecting our own qualities onto others, we can begin to uncover hidden aspects of ourselves that are calling for attention. Another way to face the shadow is through self-reflection and introspection. Taking time to examine our own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors can help us identify areas where we may be denying or repressing parts of ourselves. This may involve journaling, meditation, or simply sitting in silence and allowing ourselves to feel what arises. The key is to remain open and non-judgmental, accepting whatever comes up without resistance. Often, the shadow will reveal itself in the form of discomfort or resistance. When we feel uneasy about a particular emotion or thought, it is often a sign that the shadow is at play. It is in these moments that we must lean into the discomfort and explore what lies beneath the surface. Dreams are another rich source of insight into the shadow. In dreams, the unconscious mind often brings forward images, symbols, and scenarios that reflect aspects of the self that are not fully integrated into conscious awareness. Paying attention to recurring themes or symbols in our dreams can help us uncover hidden emotions or unresolved issues that we may be avoiding. Dreams provide a safe space to explore the shadow, as they are not bound by the constraints of logic or social norms. Through dreams, we can gain valuable insight into the unconscious forces that are shaping our lives and begin to understand how they impact our waking reality. Facing the shadow also requires a willingness to embrace the discomfort of vulnerability. It is easy to think of vulnerability as a weakness, something to be avoided at all costs. However, vulnerability is actually a powerful tool for growth and connection. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we give ourselves permission to be real, authentic, and imperfect. This is often where healing begins, as we allow ourselves to fully experience our emotions and express our true selves. Embracing vulnerability means acknowledging our flaws, our mistakes, and our fears without judgment, and recognizing that these parts of us are valid and valuable. Finally, facing the shadow is a lifelong process. It is not something that can be fully accomplished in a short period of time, but rather something that requires continual self-awareness and self-acceptance. The shadow is not a fixed or static entity. It is a dynamic part of the self that evolves over time. As we grow and change, new aspects of the shadow may emerge, and old ones may become integrated into the conscious self. The process of facing the shadow is not about achieving perfection or eliminating undesirable traits, but about embracing the fullness of who we are, light and dark, strength and weakness, joy and pain. By facing the shadow, we unlock the potential for true transformation. When we confront the hidden parts of ourselves with compassion and understanding, we create space for healing, growth, and integration. This process allows us to step into our authentic power, free from the limitations of denial and repression, and to live a more wholehearted, meaningful life. The shadow, once faced and embraced, becomes a source of strength, wisdom, and creativity, and it allows us to fully embody who we are meant to be. Individuality and self-realization are deeply intertwined concepts that form the foundation for personal growth, fulfillment, and inner peace. At its core, individuality represents the essence of who we are as unique individuals, separate from the influences and expectations imposed by others. It encompasses our personal traits, passions, values, and beliefs that make us distinct from the collective, and it is through the recognition and embrace of our individuality that we can begin the journey towards self-realization. Self-realization is the process by which we come to understand and actualize our true potential. It is the journey of becoming the fullest version of ourselves, transcending the limitations imposed by external expectations, social conditioning, and the influence of others. It involves a deep exploration of the self, both the conscious and unconscious aspects, and a commitment to living in alignment with our authentic nature. While society often values conformity and adherence to external norms, self-realization is about embracing the uniqueness of who we are, irrespective of societal standards, and expressing that essence in our daily lives. The path toward individuality and self-realization begins with self-awareness. Without awareness of our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, it becomes nearly impossible to recognize our true nature. Self-awareness allows us to step outside of our habitual thought patterns and automatic reactions, creating space to explore who we are at a deeper level. It requires us to ask fundamental questions. What do I truly value? What are my passions? What do I fear and why? What parts of myself have I neglected or rejected? These questions, though simple, are profound and essential for understanding our individuality. Once we begin to develop self-awareness, we also start to recognize the many layers of conditioning that have shaped us. From an early age, we are socialized into roles, expectations, and behaviors that reflect the values and norms of our families, communities, and societies. We learn what is considered acceptable or unacceptable, good or bad, and we often internalize these messages as truths. As a result, we may find ourselves living lives that are not truly our own, but rather reflections of what others expect of us. This can lead to a sense of disconnection, dissatisfaction, and frustration as we struggle to reconcile our authentic desires with the roles we have been assigned. In order to break free from this conditioning, it is necessary to embrace a process of individuation. Individuation, as a psychological concept, refers to the process of becoming the person we are inherently meant to be. It involves differentiating ourselves from the collective identity and discovering our unique qualities, desires, and motivations. This is not a one-time event, but a continuous journey of self-discovery, where we peel away the layers of societal conditioning and confront the parts of ourselves that have been hidden or suppressed. It is about learning to embrace our uniqueness rather than conforming to the expectations of others. At the heart of individuation is the integration of both the light and dark aspects of the self. The light represents the qualities we are comfortable with, the traits that we value and express freely, such as kindness, creativity, and intellect. The dark, on the other hand, represents the aspects of ourselves that we tend to reject or deny, such as our fears, anger, insecurities, and desires that society deems unacceptable. Often we are taught to suppress the dark parts of ourselves, believing they are inferior or wrong. However, true self-realization involves embracing all aspects of who we are, acknowledging our strengths and weaknesses, our virtues and flaws, and understanding that they all contribute to our individuality. In this process of embracing the whole self, it is important to cultivate self-compassion. Self-compassion allows us to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding, especially during moments of struggle or failure. It is easy to be critical of ourselves when we do not meet our own or others' expectations, but self-compassion encourages us to be patient and gentle with ourselves as we navigate the journey of self-realization. This compassionate attitude allows us to confront the parts of ourselves that we might otherwise hide, providing the emotional resilience needed to face the challenges of individuation. By accepting ourselves as we are, we begin to release the internal pressure to conform and start living authentically. Another essential aspect of self-realization is the courage to live according to our own values and passions, even in the face of external pressure. As individuals, we are often faced with societal norms, family expectations, and peer influences that try to steer us towards certain paths. Whether it is choosing a career, defining our relationships, or deciding how to spend our time, there is often an external push to conform to a certain mold. However, the path to self-realization requires us to listen to our own inner voice and make choices that reflect our deepest desires, rather than succumbing to the influence of others. Living authentically requires us to take risks and embrace uncertainty. The journey towards self-realization is not always straightforward or easy. It often involves stepping out of our comfort zones, challenging the status quo, and breaking free from the limitations that have been imposed upon us. It may mean pursuing a career that others do not understand, ending relationships that no longer serve us, or embarking on a path that is unconventional or uncertain. However, the reward for living authentically is a deep sense of fulfillment, purpose, and inner peace. When we align our actions with our true selves, we experience a sense of harmony and wholeness that cannot be achieved through external validation or approval. The process of self-realization is also deeply connected to personal growth and transformation. As we move toward becoming our authentic selves, we inevitably encounter challenges, obstacles, and moments of doubt. These challenges are not obstacles to our self-realization, but are, in fact, an integral part of the journey. Each challenge presents an opportunity for growth and learning, allowing us to deepen our understanding of ourselves and expand our potential. Through these experiences, we refine our sense of self, develop greater resilience, and build the emotional strength needed to navigate the complexities of life. Self-realization also requires a commitment to self-expression. As individuals, we each have unique gifts, talents, and perspectives that the world needs. Expressing our true selves, whether through art, work, relationships, or simply in how we interact with others, allows us to contribute to the collective in meaningful ways. It is through self-expression that we connect with others on a deeper level and leave a lasting impact on the world around us. When we express ourselves authentically, we not only enrich our own lives, but also create space for others to do the same. Ultimately, individuality and self-realization are about embracing our unique essence and living in alignment with our deepest values and desires. It is a lifelong journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation that requires courage, patience, and a deep commitment to living authentically. By embracing our individuality, we can break free from societal expectations, heal from past conditioning, and create a life that is truly our own. The process of self-realization is not about becoming someone else or fitting into a mold. It is about becoming the fullest expression of who we already are. Personal energy is the unseen force that shapes our experiences, impacts our well-being, and influences the world around us. It is the dynamic force that flows through our bodies and minds, dictating how we engage with life, how we respond to challenges, and how we relate to others. The concept of personal energy goes beyond the physical energy we use to carry out everyday tasks. It also includes our emotional, mental, and spiritual energy, which collectively determine our overall state of being. Understanding the role of personal energy and learning to harness it can lead to profound transformations in our lives, offering us greater vitality, resilience, and clarity. At its core, personal energy is the life force that sustains us. Every individual possesses a unique energy field that is constantly in flux, influenced by our thoughts, feelings, physical health, and environment. This energy is often referred to as vital energy, or Chi, in many ancient traditions, and it is the essence that connects us to the world around us. It is what allows us to wake up each day with the drive to pursue our goals, engage with others, and navigate the challenges of life. When our energy is balanced and aligned, we feel vibrant, clear, and motivated. However, when our energy is depleted, blocked, or scattered, we can feel fatigued, confused, and overwhelmed. One of the key components of personal energy is the emotional energy we carry. Our emotions are a powerful source of energy that can either uplift or drain us, depending on how we process and express them. Positive emotions such as joy, love, gratitude, and excitement generate high-frequency energy that promotes healing, connection, and well-being. When we experience positive emotions, our energy becomes expansive, flowing freely and effortlessly throughout our bodies. We feel more alive, present, and engaged with the world, and we are better able to tackle the challenges that come our way. In contrast, negative emotions like anger, fear, guilt, and sadness can drain our energy, leaving us feeling heavy, stuck, and disconnected. These emotions create blockages within our energy field, limiting our ability to function at our highest potential. The way we manage our emotional energy plays a crucial role in determining the quality of our lives. Unresolved emotional baggage, such as past traumas, unexpressed anger, or suppressed grief, can accumulate over time and create energy blockages that hinder our personal growth. These blockages prevent the free flow of energy, leading to feelings of stagnation, anxiety, or depression. By learning to process, release, and heal emotional wounds, we can restore balance to our energy and cultivate a sense of emotional freedom. Practices such as mindfulness, meditation, journaling, and therapy can help us navigate our emotions and clear any negative energy that may be weighing us down. Mental energy is another important aspect of personal energy. Our thoughts are powerful generators of energy that shape our reality. The mind is constantly producing thoughts, many of which are unconscious or habitual, and these thoughts influence how we perceive ourselves and the world. Positive, empowering thoughts create an upward flow of energy that supports our goals and aspirations. When we think positively and maintain an optimistic outlook, we align our energy with our desires, attracting opportunities and experiences that match our vibrational frequency. However, negative thought patterns such as self-doubt, worry, and criticism drain our mental energy and hold us back from achieving our full potential. These thoughts create mental clutter, clouding our judgment and preventing us from thinking clearly or making empowered decisions. The role of mental energy in personal growth cannot be overstated. Our thoughts influence our emotions, which in turn affect our physical health and behavior. By cultivating awareness of our mental patterns, we can begin to shift limiting beliefs and reframe negative thoughts. Practices such as affirmations, cognitive reframing, and visualization can help us reprogram our minds and create more supportive thought patterns. When we align our thoughts with our true desires and values, we tap into a wellspring of mental energy that propels us forward on our journey of self-realization. Physical energy is the most tangible form of personal energy, and it plays a vital role in our overall well-being. Our bodies are constantly expending energy as we engage in activities, work, exercise, and interact with others. Physical energy is replenished through proper nutrition, hydration, sleep, and movement. When we take care of our bodies, we maintain high levels of physical energy that enable us to perform at our best. However, when we neglect our physical health, whether through poor diet, lack of sleep, or sedentary habits,